Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Edges and 32K Car Talk. It's such a nice day today in Los Angeles. I'm so happy the sun is out right now. I'm actually driving in my 2003 Honda S2000 today. I wanted to take it out of hibernation because the weather is too nice. You know, you can't pass it up. I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple little fun things today, kind of give you guys a little history about my car life. And I wanted to talk about my very first car ever, and maybe I'll go into like a couple of my few other cars, but you know, nothing else too crazy. You know, you guys can't ever forget about your first car. You know, it's kind of like your first girlfriend that you ever dated. You know, you can never forget about her. So the first car that I ever had was actually a pass-me-down, or a hand-me-down from my dad, and it was a 1989 Saab 900S Turbo, and yes, it was turbo. That thing was like a tank. I don't know if any of you guys ever owned Saabs, but this is really irrelevant, but Saabs used to make fighter jets, like airplane jets, and it's kind of funny because you know, my dad's really proud of his Saabs, and he still has Saabs today. Like, he just can't stop buying them. But he would always be like, hey son, you know, Saabs are made from jets. They're really heavy and they're like bulletproof. You know, even if you crash or get hit, your car is gonna be fine. You'll be fine because it's really safe. Yeah, so that was my first car, and at first I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, I should be grateful, you know, like I have a car to drive, and you know, like a lot of people when they get their license, or they don't even have a car to drive, so I should be fortunate, you know, I should be grateful for that, and I am, but that car has a lot of history behind it, and you know, I have some funny stories to tell you guys in a bit. But basically, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I think I was like 17 or almost 18. I got my license, you know, kind of late, and I had to take that car to the DMV to take the test, driving test. And that car had a lot of like transmission problems, and I don't know why, but every once in a while at a stop, the car would like shut off. I think it was something to do with like one of the sensors not working properly. So basically, we were taking the test, and it was raining, and I was pulling up at a stoplight, and the funny thing was, the car just died, and I couldn't get it to start, and it kept on cranking and cranking and cranking, and I didn't know anything about cars back then, so I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna fail this test. So eventually, after like a couple of cranks, it finally started, and I was like really embarrassed, but you know, I just proceeded like nothing, and I ended up passing the test. Oh man, it was such a weird, bizarre story, but I don't know, maybe the guy was in a good mood that day, and then he was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna pass you. You're some poor kid in an old European Saab. You know what, you know, I feel sorry for you. Maybe that's what he felt. Yeah, that was my first car, and I think like either like the reservoir that was holding fuel was either like bad, or like it had some kind of leak or something like that. But every time the car would hit about a fourth tank of gas left in the car, it would smell like gas, like inside the car, and that was probably like really bad. But at that time, you know, like it was like a first car ever for me, so I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh okay, maybe I'll just fill up gas before it hits like a fourth tank, which I did, and you know, it kind of helped the problem. But sometimes, you know, you push it a little bit, and it's like, oh shoot, there's that smell again. So I remember me and my friends used to like play on a tennis team in high school, and then I would always pick him up, and we would drive, and he'd be like, oh man, the gas smelling Saab. And it was such a good time. And hey Sandeep, if you're watching this video, hey, you know, you can't laugh. Yeah, it was funny, but it was good times too. But that thing was a tank. It was so heavy. I don't know the specs top of my head, but yeah, even the hood was really heavy. I remember like the Saab, old school Saabs, like the Euro style, it would open like outwards. So the hood wouldn't open up, it would open outward. And sometimes, I mean, if I had a car like that now, I mean, I'm just curious. It's kind of hard to work on cars if your hood opens like that. So what if you need like access the radiator or something, and then, you know, you can't really stand in front of the car, you gotta stand on the side. I guess you just have to take off the hood then. But that's just something like, you know, that just came to my mind. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, do any of you guys out there ever own Saabs? I mean, they're really comfortable cars, and they feel pretty planted because they're so heavy, you know, on the freeway and on the corners. So, you know, let me know if you guys have Saabs, and, you know, if you guys like it or not, and, you know, would you ever get another Saab? I personally, I don't think I would ever get a Saab, but my dad, you know, he's always had Saabs. He has like 2 Saabs at home, and he actually sold that other Saab. And I mean, you know, everybody has different tastes, and, you know, like if you like a certain car, then, you know, more power to you. But yeah, I never got a chance to actually work on that car at all, so I don't really know too much about that car. But, you know, it's one of those things that you can never forget it. It's always embedded in your memory, and you'll always know what it feels like and what it drives like. So yeah, I'm thankful for that car, and, you know, it was a good introduction to cars. Because I think a lot of times, I mean, I'm not trying to bag on anybody or anything like that, but I think a lot of times, if you're first learning how to drive and you're like really young, you should start off with something like that's a little bit older, and, you know, that's not so expensive and not so like high class, because, you know, you'll probably end up getting spoiled, and you'll set the standard for yourself, and you're like, okay, I have such a nice car now, all my other cars are gonna be nice too. So if you start low and, you know, you set like a ground to learn for yourself, then I guess all your other future cars are gonna, you know, you're gonna appreciate them, and you're gonna learn more about them, you know. So I think if I ever had kids one day, and, you know, I grew up, and I mean they grew up, and I'm gonna be like, all right, probably get something like really old, but, you know, reliable, and that's fun to drive, and, you know, they can learn a thing or two about it. Probably not gonna give them my S2000, or probably give them the RSX. Probably something a little older. You know, there's a lot of good daily drivers out there, like old Celicas, you know, like an old Accord, something like that, where they can learn and, you know, get interested in. Yeah, all in all, guys, I mean, it's a great car. I mean, if I had to go back in time, I probably would have still kept that car, and I would have driven it, and I would have like taken ownership of it. But yeah, basically that's the first car I've ever had. I'm curious to know what you guys had as your first cars, and if you guys are young and still in high school, you know, what are you driving now? I'm sure the times have changed. It's been such a long time since I've been in high school. I graduated in 2004. I don't know when, that's like such a long time ago. I'm turning 30 in like a month, so yeah, I'm curious to know you guys' stories. Yeah, let me know. Thanks for listening. I know it's it's a fun story, but, you know, it's always little things here and there like this, like, connects you closer to with people out there in the car community. So I'm glad I had a chance to tell my story, and I'm curious to hear yours. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you guys like it, and I'll probably post some more stuff later. Weather's been holding up nice, so lots of things to do, a lot of mechanical stuff, audio stuff to do. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a nice day. Peace.